The Wards had planned their vacation for months. An isolated cabin nestled deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains promised a week of bonding, nature, and peace, a break from the chaos of their busy suburban lives. The brochures raved of beautiful lakes, amazing trails, and a starlit sky embellished by city lights. The family of four arrived on a cloudy afternoon. The dirt road to the cabin was narrow and winding, with towering trees on either side, forming an almost claustrophobic tunnel. The cabin itself was rustic but charming, with wooden shutters and a wraparound porch. It was exactly what they had imagined. "This is perfect," Laura, the mother, said as she unloaded the cooler. Her teenage daughter, Megan, rolled her eyes, earbuds firmly in place, while her younger brother, Jake, eagerly darted off to explore the yard. Inside the cabin was quaint, but slightly off. The wooden walls seemed to lean inward, and the air smelled faintly of mildew and something metallic. A large, old mirror hung above the fireplace, its frame adorned with strange carvings that looked almost like faces frozen in silent screams. Lauren found it creepy, but Mark, her husband, laughed it off. "It's just a bit of local charm," he said, giving her a reassurance kiss. "Let's unpack and start dinner." As the evening settled, the wind picked up, howling through the trees. Jake insisted he saw someone standing at the edge of the forest. But when Mark grabbed a flashlight to investigate, there was nothing there. "Just shadows," said Mark. "This place is messing with your imagination, buddy." That night, Megan was the first to notice the whispers. They were faint, barely audible, but persistent. She pulled out her earbuds, frowning. "Mom?" she called out. No answer. She got out of bed and opened her door, only to see the shadow dart across the hallway. Her breath caught in her throat. "Jake?" she whispered. Still no response, she slowly crept to his room and found him sound asleep, clutching his stuffed bear. Shaking her head, she told herself it was nothing and went back to bed. But the whispers continued, growing louder as the night wore on. By the third day, the atmosphere in the cabin had shifted. The once inviting woods now seemed menacing, their shadows darker, deeper. The family's cheerful banter was replaced by short tempers and uneasy silences. Jake refused to go outside, claiming the trees were watching him. Laura started having vivid nightmares of being trapped in the cabin, unable to find her family. Mark dismissed it all as paranoia. That evening, the power went out. They gathered around the fireplace, the flickering flames casting eerie shapes on the walls, Megan staring at the mirrors above the mantel. The faces carved into the frame seemed more defined now, their expressions more anguished. "Do you guys see that?" she asked, pointing. "See what?" Mark said. "The mirror. It moved." Mark sighed. "It's just your imagination. You're scaring yourself." And then they all saw it. A shadow moved across the mirror's surface, not a reflection, but something within it. Laura screamed, and Jake burst into tears. Mark grabbed the fireplace poker and swung it at the mirror, shattering it into jagged pieces. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the whispers began again, louder this time, filling the room. The shards of the mirror vibrated on the floor, and from the largest piece, a black, tar-like substance began to ooze, spreading across the wooden planks. "We have to leave," Laura said, grabbing Jake. Megan was already at the door, pulling at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. Mark tried the windows, but they were stuck fast, as if sealed by an unseen force. The tar began to take shape, rising from the floor into a grotesque humanoid figure. Its eyes were empty voids and its mouth stretched impossibly wide. It let out a guttural growl that seemed to shake the very walls of the cabin. In panic, Mark grabbed a lantern and hurled it at the creature. The flames erupted, engulfing the figure, but instead of retreating, it advanced, its burning form filling the room with smoke. The family huddled together, screaming, as the walls of the cabin seemed to close in around them. When the Rangers arrived, days later, alerted by worried relatives who hadn't heard from the Wards, they found the cabin burned to the ground. Of the family, there was no sign, only the melted remains of a mirror frame, its carvings still eerily intact.